Hey YouTube, what's going on? Chris here. I want to bring y'all an update on Bitcoin, and this is one of the most important updates that I can do for y'all. And basically what we're going to do today, we're going to look in the Encyclopedia of Chart Patterns, and we're going to talk about this downward break out of the descending triangle. I know we've looked at a symmetrical triangle and a descending triangle, but now it's actually looking like it was more of a descending triangle. And what I'm going to do, guys, is go through this. We're going to talk about basically the breakouts, potential throwback or a pullback onto our horizontal line there around $9,300, and we're going to get into all this, guys, and it's going to be directly out of the Encyclopedia of Chart Patterns. So I want to bring you the truth here. I know a lot of people are freaking out. This was a major drop down for the cryptocurrency market, but I wanted to put this on your radar, guys, because this also can happen. If you like these videos, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I appreciate you all being here with me. So first of all, in the Encyclopedia of Chart Patterns, we're talking about a descending triangle. And what it says was here, guys, obviously, as we have more touches along the bottom, it became weaker. We broke down through, we broke down on heavy volume. And what it says is basically the average decline of a downward break out of here when we are in a bull market. So remember, this is a descending triangle at the top of a bull market here. Okay, it says the average decline is 16%. So I want to test that out here. Price range, we're going to go down. And guys, right there, we ended up going down about 13.6% on Bitcoin. And what it says was, though, we have pullbacks that occur 54% of the time. And what a pullback is going to be, guys, we broke to the downside. Okay, so we fell to the downside. A pullback would be back up to test this horizontal line here at around $93.95. We'll call it $9,400. That happens 54% of the time. Now, if we come back up there and we test this horizontal line, remember, guys, we can always fall back down even farther. That's a potential and that's a possibility for us. So the three things that can happen are we can continue this downside break, just falling very hard to the downside. That's number one. Number two, we can bounce back up and test this at $93.95. That's number two. And number three is that we can actually come back up here, test this horizontal line and get back up above it and break out even farther, and this would be a busted pattern or a busted descending triangle. And I'm going to read a little bit about that, but guys, listen to this here now. Okay, this is very important and I want you to pay attention to it. Price action after the breakout of a descending triangle. About half the time, price returns to the breakout price through either a throwback, upward breakout, which that would be, or a pullback, a downward breakout. So we'd be looking for a pullback, taking less than 2 weeks to complete the trip. And I want to stop there. It typically takes almost 2 weeks for us to have this pullback back onto this horizontal line. So it could take some time where we move sideways and then maybe come back up and test it again, guys. So that's what I just want to mention to you for people, you know, who weren't there when we broke to the downside. This would probably be a pretty bad spot to sell out right now, because we could have that retracement or pullback back up into this area. And then, guys, we could see what's happening. If we're seeing rejection there, or if we're going to start, you know, getting back up and it's going to be a busted pattern, is what you want to look at here. It goes on to continue to say, guys, let's see here. Taking less than 2 weeks to complete the trip. After that, anything can happen. Usually, however, price returns to moving in the original breakout direction, but sometimes not, just to frustrate the largest number of traders. Support and resistance appear along the two trend lines. Throwbacks to the top of the formation usually stop at the sloping trend line, whereas pullbacks to the bottom halt at the horizontal trend line. After a breakout, prices often follow the sloping trend line down. During the recovery process after a descending triangle, prices rise to meet the level of the horizontal trend line and then pause. Sometimes it takes several tries before prices push up through the horizontal resistance line. Triangles as a group are easy to spot. However, there are some situations that dictate a careful approach. And guys, what it goes on to is basically when you have these busted patterns, so say we come down here and then we bust back up through the top, it can be very aggressive and we can run very hard to the upside if that is the case. I'm not saying that's the case, guys, but we always want to focus and on every scenario, up, down, sideways. That's what I'm here to do for you guys, and that's what I want to, you know, bring to this market, is the education, because I don't know everything. That's why I'm reading to you out of this book as I continue to learn this market as well. But this is something that I'm keeping my eye on here. So it says focus on failures. The breakout is downward, but it lasts for just 2 days before prices pull back to the triangle. And this is showing an example in here, guys. Then, as if jumping off a springboard, prices take to the air and climb. When it rises above the top of the triangle, the descending triangle chart patterns becomes a failure or a busted pattern, because some traders will put a stop above the triangle top to prevent a catastrophic loss. The climb does not end there, as prices form into a pennant with an upward breakout. That pennant, being a half-staff pattern, suggests a climb that's equals to the one leading to it. In this example, the rise is more than the preceding one. And what it's showing, guys, in this book here that I have, it's a breakdown, and then we actually went back up through, and it was a busted pattern, and we ended up moving back up to the top and continuing the move all the way to, guys, we broke down in the book here to $13, and it ended up going back up through to over $20. So that's what I'm saying. Right now, we're not at the end. It's not a guarantee that we're going to continue to get pushed to the downside. We're going to have to wait. Sometimes it takes up to 2 weeks. Now, if we just continue to get pushed to the downside, guys, then it can be very aggressive like we had over here. If you look at this previous descending triangle, so here was our horizontal bottom, we basically just fell really hard, really fast, and just kept going down, and it was over a 50% loss. I don't know if we really had much of a pullback or a retracement. So guys, if we put our horizontal line here, just to give you an example, see that? So we broke down through it, we paused, we moved sideways, then the breakdown just continued on even heavier volume. So that was a sign, since we had that failure there and we didn't get back up to really test that bottom, that most likely we were just going to continue to move to the downside. And these are the things that I'm trying to teach people, guys. I really want you to learn this stuff as well, because there's so many options and different things that can take place. That's why no one can tell you exactly what's going to happen in this space. My downside target is playing out to a T right now. But my upside target, I had to abandon that. And that's not what I'm looking at right now. Now I'm looking to see if this is going to be a busted descending triangle, or if we're going to have a pullback onto it, or if we're going to continue to get pushed to the downside here, guys. Those are the main things. And what happened was yesterday, which was significant, we closed below this 200-day EMA. And now today we wicked back up to it, trying to get up to it, and we're seeing some rejection. Now, we're not going to close, guys, for another, let's see, about 9.5 hours, so there's a lot of time for things to happen. But I want to put this on your radar. This right now is almost kind of like tweezer bottoms. And what you can see is that our indicators were in greatly oversold territory. So if we pull up our stock RSI on the 1 day, you can see how low we are. We're at 0 and 3.58. So most likely we're going to get one of these pullbacks over the next week, guys. And I think that because of how oversold that we are, we'd have to basically cool down the stochastic and the RSI to the downside there, so that if it does want to continue to move to the downside, it's going to have room to do that. Because right now, look, we're at 22.84. So a lot of guys will actually jump in, try to play a quick reaction, and then get the heck out of there. And this bounce that we have here, guys, if we do have some little bounce, depending on the volume that comes in, that's going to tell us a lot. If we come up to maybe this area, 89, and then start to roll back over, things could get very ugly. But if we bounce hard from here on big volume in the next couple days, then things could be all right, and maybe it's just some type of a busted pattern, and we'll start moving back to the upside. Okay, and a little bit more about these descending triangles while I have you guys here, for the people who are still interested in this. So the downward breakout in a bull market for this, it says appearance is same, but the breakout is to the downward. Reversal or continuation, short-term bearish reversal is what's taking place. The performance rank is number 10 out of 21. The break-even failure rate is 16%. The average decline is 16%. Change after trends is 60%. The volume trend is downward. So you saw how for the longest time in this triangle, guys, we had downward volume. Okay, pullbacks happen 54% of the time. Percentage meeting price target 54% of the time. And then surprising finding, this is pretty interesting, pullbacks hurt performance. So if we are to pull back onto this horizontal line here, guys, the bottom of the triangle, tall or wide patterns perform better than short or narrow ones. Heavy breakout volumes helps push the price higher or lower, and then same as breakouts to the upwards. But basically what it's saying is pullbacks hurt performance. So if we do come up to here, we may not fall as far down as we would if we just dropped out of here very fast, very hard, and very aggressively. And guys, this is the whole reason why I got the Encyclopedia of Chart Patterns, so that as patterns form, we can kind of, align ourselves the best that we can with these situations. And in my opinion, with how hard and how fast we broke down out of here, most likely over the next couple weeks, or even a few days, we're going to have a pullback back up to around that $9,300 range, and then we're going to have to see what happens. If it's a busted pattern, we move up, or if that's the rejection point, and then we start moving to the downside, guys. But I want to put the odds in my favor. I want to try to help as many people as I can here. So let me know if you get something out of this, if you like these from the Encyclopedia chart patterns, guys. And this book here, I got it for $100. This was a new one that I bought. They didn't have it used, but it has over 1,000 pages in it and just so much information. Thomas Bulkowski is the author of this, and he's went through thousands of chart patterns and basically watched them and tracked all the data on them, and that's what I'm bringing to you guys. So this is out of the Encyclopedia chart patterns. It's the second edition. It's by Thomas Bulkowski. So let me know down below, guys, if you get something out of this. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Don't freak out right now. We have to be patient. The next few days to the next couple weeks is going to be extremely important for Bitcoin, guys. I can't overemphasize that enough. So we need to get back up above that 200-day EMA. Then we're going to see if we have that pull back onto the horizontal line. That's what I'm looking at, guys. God bless. Take care.